All right, welcome back to Perspective with Zane Foy. It has been a minute. I am so sorry. It's been super busy. A lot going on, just with the baby on the way. Me and Lindsay just moved. A lot of projects going on right now with my free community, Learning to Love. Just a lot of things we're teaching and whatnot. I'm developing this 8-step pathway, basically this roadmap of love from single to happily ever after. It's going to be called the Committed Partnership Pathway. It's everything I've ever learned in the last 7 years, kind of put into a sequential or a chronological order. Anyways, that's what's going on with me. Today's podcast episode, I apologize if there's like an echo in here. I have yet to soundproof this room, which I'm noticing I desperately need to do. So sincere apologies for that. But no, I had a student reach out to me not too long ago, and he asked me a really good question. He was like, how do we move on? How do we let go? In fact, if I can find his like original question, you know what? I could find it in 2 seconds. He says, hey, Zane, I have a question for you. I'm not sure if this is how it works, but I'd like to get your perspective and things that I can try. How can I stop dwelling on what could be? Not just in a romantic sense, but in general. Like if I had a job opportunity fall through, or if I gave it my best effort, or anything like that, any advice? And I thought, well, this is a really good question, but it's a big question, so why don't I answer it into a podcast, which I will hopefully be doing a lot more of these in the future, by the way. And, you know, I thought about it, and it's a really good question. And it's always a challenge to answer these questions because I have to really dive into my own life and think, well, what have I done? What have I experienced? What did I do to get through that experience? It happens all the time where we have a situation and we think, like this could have gone this way, this could have gone that way. What if it worked out? And you know, I like to think to myself, I'm a religious man. I am a God-fearing man. I've been practicing my faith. And so what I've done in this situation, or how I handle this, is I ask myself, you know, am I exactly where I'm supposed to be? And I think, yes, I think I am. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. You know, this idea that God has a plan for all of us, I feel like I've done a damn good job. I've done my best to follow whatever plan this is, to learn from my mistakes, to learn things that I did not know, right? We have all these things we try to do. And as long as we try our best, then should they not work out, okay. All right. I did my best. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. You know, let's think about the opposite of this. To do, you know, no matter what we do, some things may happen, some things may work out, some things may not. It's a lack of control, right? This feeling that sometimes we just don't have control. And you're right, we don't. We absolutely do not. But we think, oh, well, we don't like this feeling. Well, what would be the opposite? What would be the opposite of this feeling, this lack of control? What would be to have control, right? To have control of these situations, to have control of how this might play out and that might play out. And I can tell you right now, to have control over everything is absolutely impossible. It's impossible. In fact, it's so impossible, it's foolish to even try. We can do our best to try to head a certain direction, right? I can do my best to prep for a job interview, or to be a good husband, or to be a good father. And as long as I can look in the mirror and say, you know what, you really did do your best, then whatever happens, happens, right? We don't know what we don't know, and we can't fix what we don't know, and we can't predict the future, so we can't prep. All we can do is guess. We can guess, we can estimate, we can learn, we can make calculated decisions. And those calculated decisions, that's what we got. And that's okay. To say, I did the best I could with everything that I had. And if it doesn't work out, great. Did you learn from it? Absolutely. Okay, so take that into the next opportunity. We have to have this mindset of abundance, that there's an abundance in the world, whether it's opportunities, not just in jobs, but in relationships, in friends, in hobbies, in everything in life. We have more than we need. You can't go about life thinking you only get one shot at everything. No, absolutely not. Think of how many chances you've had at one specific thing so far. I mean, I'm 24 years old and I've had enough relationships to learn a thing or two. It wasn't just the one and I thought, well, oh, it didn't work out. Guess I'm single for the rest of my life. Or you don't get that job opportunity you want and you go, guess I'm unemployed for the rest of my life. That was it. That's all I got. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You get chances, guys. You get chances. Now it's up to you to decide what a good chance is to take, right? If you've been in a relationship with someone and you're on and off all over the place and you're, breaking up and getting back together and breaking up and getting back together and breaking, okay, that's a problem. You probably should move on. Because either you exhibit something that's not working or they exhibit something that's not working. And if you're willing to go in and out with a partner that often, it begs the question how in you're actually getting in the relationship to be able to leave so easily. So that's where I think, like, you kind of just, it's life. You can just accept it. Oh my God, I had a client that worded this perfectly to me the other day. I love the way he said this. But with things you can't control, you just surrender to them. You do your best to be your best, and you surrender to everything else. That's literally it. That's literally it. It's the idea of trust and, fidelity, or is my partner going to cheat on me? Same idea. You do the best you possibly can to be a good person, to find a good person that, exhibits all of the qualities you want. You do your best to find someone that you can trust with your soul. And then you do it. You trust them. You have faith. At the end of the day, it's not like you can just plug in a controller and just control someone, or control the things that happen to you, or control the things you go through. You can only do so much. You can try to play the best possible hand with what cards you've been dealt, and that's it. That is where your jurisdiction and your responsibility ends. You can do a lot of things to control your environment, to control your, the friends you hang out with, the decisions you make. There is a lot of ownership and a lot of control you have in your life. But some things we can't control. And if you can't control them, don't try. Surrender to them. Understand that this is the way it's going to be. And this is the beauty of life, is that things can happen. If you could control everything, there'd be no reason to live. There's this video by Alan Watts. It's beautiful, and it's I forget what it might be called The Pursuit of Happiness, but he talks about how people live life for the surprises. That's what makes life so interesting and entertaining, is surprise. Not knowing what's going to happen next. That's why you scroll on your phone for hours and hours on end, because in a single scroll, in a single flick of your thumb, you have no idea what you're going to discover. It could be something funny, it could be something disturbing, it could be something entertaining, mind-boggling, interesting, whatever it is. But it's this not knowing that brings you all of this life. If you knew exactly what was going to happen from right now to the moment you die, every twitch of a muscle fiber you would make, everything you'd eat, the way it feels, the way it tastes, everything you do, the way you experience, if you could literally feel the rest of your life, knowing exactly what was going to happen, you'd almost have no reason to like do it. It's already been done in your head, in your mind. Like, it's already there. You already know what's going to happen. So like, it's like watching a movie you've already seen 1,000 times. At some point, you're like, well, I mean, yeah, it's a good movie. It can bring me nostalgia, but does it bring me the same excitement, the same mystery that I loved so much before? No, of course not. There's something on my tongue right now that's driving me nuts. But no, of course not. You already know. But that's the beauty of not knowing, is that like something good can happen and something bad can happen. That's just life. That's just life. And so, recently I've been getting I've been trying my best, or at least the best that I think I have. That was brutally honest. To practice my faith and to get closer to God. And one of the biggest things I'm learning, trying to follow, what would Jesus do in like a non-ironic or hysterical way, but like actually see in a serious manner, what would Jesus do? Grace. Grace is something I have had to learn, not just for myself, but for those around me, to have grace, to be able to say, you're not perfect, and that's okay. You're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. You're going to fail, you're going to miss, you're going to lose, and that's okay, because you're not God. And you know what? You're not supposed to be. I have to say that to myself all the time. I am my biggest critic. I criticize and judge myself very harshly, which is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because I've been able to achieve the things I've done because of how high my standards are. I've been able to become the man that I am because of how high my standards are. But even I have to remind myself that sometimes you just lose. We're not going to stop fighting. That doesn't mean we stop trying. But there's no reason to beat ourselves up over it. We just learn something and we take it into the next opportunity to win. That's it. You just learn something and you take it into the next opportunity to win. And sometimes when we fail or when we lose, we have broken pieces and we have damages that come from that. If we were in a relationship and someone cheated on us, it brings a lot of anxiety. It brings a lot of fear into the next one. That's okay. It's just another thing to learn from. It's another barrier to manage. It's another challenge to overcome. It just means we have to get better at this struggle or this thing we're dealing with. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with getting better at something? It sucks that we have to. But then I always put myself into like a parent's perspective of, if I was a father, which I am now, but someday my kid's going to go through shit. That's reality. Someday my child is going to experience life as I have. And I'd hope that when they come to me and they ask, how did you get through this? I have an answer. And that's the way I try to perceive a lot of things, is that sometimes we go through real dark, evil places of life that we hope in all our hearts our children will never have to experience. But I also have a sense of peace knowing that in those really dark moments, I overcame them. And should, for whatever reason, my kids go through something similar, I'm equipped to be there. I'm equipped to teach them, to show them, and to guide them so that they may go through those experiences with the guidance I didn't have, so that they don't have to do it alone. And so, yeah, sometimes I am hit with these parts of life where I think this sucks. This hurts. This is not fun. I am suffering. I'm struggling. I hate it. But I think I'm going to be a fucking damn good father, though. I'm going to be a real good father. And if it's not a father or a mother, then it's a friend. And if it's not a friend, then it's a person. But it's the fact that you're growing, you're improving, and you're going to learn something. And life is hard, but anything that's hard reaps a wonderful reward. And that's what you have to remember, is that I promise, if you keep making it through these things, God will notice. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope that helps. If you guys are not already in the community, jump in. It's free. Learning to Love on School. Links in my Instagram, or you can just go to school.com/ZaneFoy. And that's school as in SKOOL. And yeah, you join Learning to Love. It's all free. It'll be priced eventually, but for now, everything's free. So get in while it's free, because then when I price it, you'll be grandfathered in. It's free for life. So I love you guys. Every time I do these podcasts, I always think to myself, I don't know if it's helping you or helping me, but it's helping somebody. I love you guys. Take it easy. I'll see you in the next episode.